can't wait for your review of YAIRA, the feminist superhero, says Element 47. Yeah, Eric, I got a copy sent to me. Okay, so, I will be, I will be reviewing YAIRA fairly soon. I got to read it. I think it should be in my mailbox right now. But I just got home. I was like traveling, so I didn't go get the mail yet. However, I have been watching other people's commentary about YAIRA, and there's quite a bit. Like, I'm very interested in Dick Masterson's review because Dick Masterson wrote the initial review of ISOM #1 that caused so much of a ruckus, and it was such a good review. I mean, it wasn't a positive review, but it was a well done review. It was very thoughtful. Actually, after I read his notes on ISOM #1, I sent him Cyberfrog Wreck Planet to get his notes on my work because I thought it would be helpful. I didn't expect that he would like the book. I just thought that, somebody who's going to take that kind of thought and care, that kind of time into reading and taking notes, what a privilege that is. You have to pay people to do that ordinarily. So I guess evidently, he's done it again. Now, this is a video from a few days back where he's talking about it. It's called YAIRA Has Terrible Writing. But I think this was before he read it. I think he was just looking at
a YAIRA came out.
Really?
Twitter.
So he's interested in seeing some of that?
Yeah, I am. I guess I just don't get it.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's just...
You don't get what?
Just him just opening this world without having any kind of, he's got 2 episodes of the central,
it's
the
so
crux of his
dumb.
universe, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. I could just, there's a fuck up on every single page.
You're
all of it's goofy.
Introducing a character 6 pages into your first issue ever of anything.
They're all named so stupid. This about sums it up for me. Let me find this. Here it is.
People have to, there has to be some kind of a backlash, right? I mean, people aren't still just doubling down.
I don't know if
not everybody.
They're weird. They're weird. The fans of this guy. The people who just want to buy this shit to pretend to
I mean,
great job.
Spite purchases. I don't know what they're doing. It's like a political donation.
Well, no, I know
they're doing.
Yeah, sure.
Why did Trump get $30 million after he got convicted of bullshit?
Right, because
who's sitting there? Oh yeah, I got to give this guy some.
Right,
I've never thought that, so I don't know.
Right,
me give someone money?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Right.
Well, he's fighting for you. So keep doing it. Maybe he's got some money for me too.
Right.
Forget the fight.
Right.
Let me get some of that money.
Right.
Let me get some of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the news anchor on YAIRA, the appearance of YAIRA. She says, this is a news anchor live. You see this kind of thing in comic books, right? Where a news anchor says stuff.
Of course.
Pretty hacky, I think.
Yeah, but you see the talking heads are always,
Yeah. This is week 200 of the pandemic.
Right.
Still no gigantic mounting death toll, right? That's what you'd want, a brief little thing to set up the action, right?
Sure.
The newscaster says YAIRA has powers that allow her to fly and manipulate the element of ice.
That is definitely Eric July's writing. I don't think the Saska sisters wrote this. At least not this part. I think this, Eric wrote it. It's his unique way of speaking and writing, where there are extra words in there. YAIRA has powers that allow her to fly. Instead of just saying YAIRA can fly, Eric will expound upon. He's a fascinating writer. The more I read of his work, the more I see his idiosyncrasies and weird, brain damaged thought process. YAIRA has powers that allow her to fly. It could just be YAIRA can fly and manipulate the element of ice. Now, a lot of people have made hay of this thing about the element, ice being an element. Ice is not an element. Ice is a state of water, which is a compound. But maybe they're not talking about the elements. Fire, water, earth, sky, air, whatever it is. Even still, I don't think ice counts as one of those elements. So it's gay. Manipulate the element of ice, although it's not clear how. This drives me nuts. You established in a universe that there's a type of person that has superpowers. and that it's a mutant, okay? It's a ripoff of Stan Lee's idea of mutants who are born with varying powers. They're not all the same powers. Each mutant is born with an individually unique power that makes him different and sets him apart from humans and then other superhumans and mutants. And if you saw somebody could manipulate ice, which is manipulate's the wrong word too. This is manipulating, generating ice, freezing the air, freezing the moisture in the air, would be the power that YAIRA has. You would just assume she was a mutant. In this case, anyone would just assume that YAIRA was an accept. I don't understand why that's in debate to ordinary common people. It's a really strange thing. Like, the newscaster has some inside knowledge, some idea, some prejudice about this that I don't think she would have. And again, that's an Eric July idiosyncrasy. That's Eric inserting himself into this character and trying to add mystery where there shouldn't be any mystery. Although it's not clear how. She has super strength. Oh, good. People just wouldn't talk like this. See what Dick says.
Yeah, I know. I read that. It's where my eyes went. Yeah.
Is that part of the culture? Do I not know?
Yeah, Doctor.
Is that an element now?
You know,
Does it identify it? Is ice an element now?
words?
Earth, water, wind, fire, and ice? Ice baby?
Yeah.
Is it like Simon and Garfunkel, he got kicked out and yeah?
Yeah.
Ice was
No. Hold
Although
on a
it's-
second. Joe
okay.
Kasna is misrepresenting what I said here, which is no surprise. Joe Kasna, of course, is a detractor of mine. Writers put aspects of themselves in characters. Stanley 101. That's different, and that's almost acceptable. Okay, it is acceptable. I'm not talking about putting an aspect of yourself in a character. I'm saying that you're writing your own prejudices and, because you're the creator of these characters. You know what the truth is. You know what the answer is. And so you're giving a character who wouldn't have any, thought about it. You're giving her prejudices and you're giving her a thought process that she just wouldn't naturally have, being who she is. And that's because it's Eric July saying, this is what I want the readers to know, rather than what the newscaster would know.
she continues she has powers that allow her to fly. Maybe a way to say that is she can fly.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know
okay.
if the new, I don't want to
That's kind of
the
a-
news
like a-
direction.
Yeah, she has powers that allow her to fly. You mean like the power of flight?
She has the power of flight, you would say.
Right, that allows her to fly.
Why is he so retarded? Why didn't someone edit this? See, because those piss twins that he employed, the women that a lot of people said, man, you're hiring feminist piss twins. They're going to turn this into the shit you guys hate. It's
Yeah.
just feminist trash.
Yes. That's
There's
what
no
they do.
indication that they can write. You certainly can't. So I don't think this is a good team up. Whatever. YAIRA has powers that allow her to fly and manipulate the element of ice.
Yeah.
Manipulate it.
Right.
You manipulate Magneto manipulates
Right.
electricity, the electrical fields,
Yeah.
Because the field's there and he's like,
Yes, manipulate the element of ice.
You're not manipulating ice would be like you're pulling it out of a drink, right? Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It's real dangerous.
Go get me some Peter Lugers. I'm
Go
manipulating.
get me a You want a scotch? I'm going Scotch Earth on the rocks. Absolutely.
Scotch Earth, very good.
I got to manipulate that. I
Already
said
better
it.
than anything in the book.
It's already funnier.
Yeah.
Manipulate the element of ice, although it's not clear how. Huh. It's a fucking mind bender.
It's a mystery. Yeah, exactly. We got a team of monkeys working 24/7 on it to figure this out. We'll bring you the updates as
Why would they even this? It bothers me. Why would they be it's not clear how? What do they have knowledge of how superpowers work, the ordinary people? It's not clear how. God, it drives me nuts. It's so weird. It's just so fucking weird.
as it comes.
You ever? Is that a thing a news says?
That's kind of a
Although we're not clear how. How do all the other powers work? We don't know.
if you
How
say
the fuck
anything,
does any of it work?
although you say anything, you would say something like experts are. We don't care if you. Why would you know it?
Although it's not clear how?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not clear
Yeah.
how?
I don't know. The whole thing is, it's not
It's
good.
the
Are you
worst
clear on
writing.
some of them?
Every
That lady
sentence
could
is
travel through
horrible.
time. It's super clear how. It is?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, science. Oh, okay. She also has super strength. Oh, wow.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah. We kind of know what that
powers
one
that-
is.
we
Kind of
know
saved
what
it at
that
the
one
end there,
is.
you know. Super strength. Good. Something we can all get behind. We understand it, right?
That's easy. That's easy to understand.
Tell, don't show. That's what you say. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Always tell, don't
Yeah.
show. Do you want to hear more of YAIRA? I don't know.
Yeah,
Do people
yeah,
like
yeah,
YAIRA?
yeah.
Yeah,
because
more
it's
YAIRA.
horrible.
What? How do
right?
you
So
not
we
like
gotta,
it?
We gotta see more of this. She dresses up in a disguise at
Hi,
one
Shane
point. Let me
Davis.
see if I can find that. Oh, I don't want to see that one yet. Let's see if there's any more cringe shit in here.
Let's see if there's any more.
Oh yeah,
cringe
this
shit.
is. I mean, this is kind of
no,
odd,
is that
isn't
a
it?
Q-tip fight? Is that one?
I guess this is a lady in a retirement home. I need Q-tips. I'm out of them. And then the lady she's talking to is like a nurse, and she says $20.
Yeah, but I don't have any money.
And she says for a pack of Q-tips.
Yeah.
What the?
If this is
This is part of the story, I guess. It's a lady looking for a lady with the beefiest Popeye arms
know.
ever, an old lady.
yeah, like
The
kind of
MC
sinewy,
Escher
strong,
walking.
like a
There's Eric
like
July
a
back
dock
there.
worker.
Yeah,
Um,
asking for
Yeah.
Q-tips.
So is this like, is she gonna set this right? She the champion
Is
of the,
YAIRA the Q-tip champion? She's
I
gonna
mean,
come in and straighten things out. For
$20
this
for
lady?
Q-tips is fucking insane. But I mean,
Well, yeah, it is. It is a lot.
yeah. And the old people, we know they need Q-tips. A lot of shit collects in places, I think.
Do they need a whole box though? Do they?
I mean-
Because they might die before they use them. Maybe they're buying.
I think they
little
use
individual
I
packs.
think they use a lot of
right?
Q-tips.
Look at this trash. It's just like scribbled in like a child, right? The color is like, oh yeah, well I gotta get this in on time, right? Color it in. That's the libertarian utopia joke.
$20
I guess.
for
$20 for
Q-tips.
Q-tips. Like
Good
this is
job.
this is your libertarian paradise. Why are you making it?
Sorry for the
Oh
clip.
no, more just needless
Shane, I
violence,
sent you the
right?
link. if you
Yeah,
wanna
this is
join.
girl boss shit. Wait, let me find something. Oh yeah, look at here.
Look
this
at
is
that
one I'm looking
arm.
for.
Holy shit.
This is a disguise that YAIRA wears. She
That's a disguise.
if you go to Google and type in disguise, this is what you get. This trans colored Carmen Sandiego
Yeah.
outfit. Look at these tits, Sean. These are tits you could
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, women, when they try to draw sexy women, most of the time, a lot of the times, are very self-conscious about they're like, boys want to see tits. And so this is like, Deborah, like, Deborah cannot draw clothing over breasts. She can't do it. By the way, look at that tiny doorway. Jesus Christ. That is like a tiny door. And I understand she's tall, but that's still too thin. It's too narrow. And it's too short. But anyway, Deborah draws like two like fucking grapefruits, and they're like carefully outlined from every single angle. And I guess like as an artist, like trying to explain to you like why that's wrong is that there's a light source, and the light source is going to be creating a shadow in one direction. So you can either have a heavy shadow underneath the breast, or if it's uplit, you can have a shadow on top of the breasts. But she doesn't understand that. And so there's shadow all around the breasts. All around the breast, there's black shadow, emphasizing the shape of the squished grapefruit. And then I like the pulled fabric in between. I mean, it's so... And look at... You can even see her abdomen. You can see her ab muscles underneath this shirt. It's Deborah, that's not how clothing works. Where is Kanan White? Why didn't Kanan White fix this? Kanan White redrew a bunch of it. Why didn't he redraw this? Because this page is all Deborah. Like, if you showed this to me and tried to say to me, see, Ethan, Deborah Carita did draw the whole book, I would say, yeah, she drew this, like all of this. Nobody fixed this. Damn, dude. Look at her, like, in this, everything. Is she floating in the air? And I understand she's supposed to be tall, but she ain't this tall. She is literally 12 feet tall looking down on this old lady in a wheelchair here. This is too tall. She's floating in the air. Perspective is fuck perspective. Fuck the horizon line. Fuck the eye line. Fuck your eye level. She is floating in the air right there, and she's crooked. Kanan White, what are you getting paid for? And I understand you redrew a bunch of shit, but what is this? You let this get by? You let this get by you and get into the goal? How did you do that? Horrendous. Horrendous. God damn it.
You could run the Indy 500 with these stats. Look at them.
Yeah.
Those babies are packed.
No
Tight.
doubt.
I don't know. What do you think about this outfit?
Did the same
Trans.
thing with the old lady's tits.
Trans Carmen San Diego.
Yeah.
Carmen San Diego, but it's swapped a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Carmen San Francisco. I saw somebody say. I don't know. It looks a little weird.
Yeah.
It's all. Let's see. She kills this guy because he says he wants to bust a nut in her. I don't think that's appropriate for kids, do you?
No, I mean,
So she breaks all these
crass.
guys out of prison,
yeah.
and then this guy says, this guy says, well, would you look at you, babe? How can Eddie even begin to thank that perfect body?
Is he Eddie?
I assume so, but
he's
it's not indicated.
Third person, yeah.
Usually you want to say,
I'm Eddie, yeah. That perfect body of yours. I love it.
You know, when his character's referring to themselves.
Yeah,
You don't
Eddie
want to throw
talk
in
like
a
Eddie gonna
weird,
talk. Yeah, that.
You don't want to throw in any kind of weird, like, Jimmy references, right? For a rapist.
Yeah.
How can Eddie even begin to thank that perfect body of yours for busting me out?
Inconsistent should be busting Eddie out. Maybe Eddie could bust
How can
Commit.
Eddie
Just commit,
even
for fuck's
begin
sake.
to think that perfect body? So he doesn't use any pronouns. He's so right wing. He doesn't even use pronouns for you.
Yeah.
Right? How can Eddie even begin to thank that perfect body of yours?
Right.
Why would you thank for busting me out? Eddie should be Eddie out.
Yeah.
Maybe I could bust and then she turns around and
Bust something in his.
and murders him.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, that's a lot of blood. I'm guessing he's probably dead. That's a lot of blood around the neck region, right?
How
Because she was
tall is
disrespected,
he?
of course.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Jesus Christ. Like, so she's 9 feet tall. He must be 13 feet tall. Look at the length of this arm. Kanan, what were you doing, dude? What is she, on her knees already? Like, I can't wait to review this book. I can't wait to review it. I got it. I'm sure it's in my mailbox right now. I owe you guys a review. I will review it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow.
And
Yeah.
we have the trope of you disrespected me, I'm going
Right.
to instantly turn around and murder you.
Right.
It's not heroic.
She could have
is
just
it?
Punched him in the dick, and that would have been like a great,
Yeah,
like his
take that.
eyes bug out. Like all of a sudden, like, you have
Whoa,
this really
my
graphic
penis!
thing, and then it's just like the most hilarious, pained expression on his face.
I would let that fly.
Yeah.
But instead she decapitates him.
Looks that way.
Uses that old nose into the brain.
Right.
That's a real man-hater wrote that. I've got news for you.
Yeah.
That maybe I could bust us. So she's decided to kill him at that perfect body of yours for busting me. Then she's
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to kill you, right? Maybe I could bust her. And then
She doesn't know what he's going
she
to say.
doesn't know what he's going to say.
Not for sure. Seems a little like
it's not even that aggressive for a convicted felon in prison.
Right. I mean,
that's not that bad.
He thanked her.
He did thank her.
He's figuring out ways to thank her. Maybe it was going to be a list. Like,
Maybe
oh,
I
you don't
could
want that? Oh,
bust
well,
a
maybe
door
dinner
open for you.
Maybe Peter Luger's. Maybe Eddie could take you to Peter Luger's.
Maybe I could bust out my checkbook and
Yeah.
take you to a nice dinner.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We'll never know what he was going to say or do.
No, because he doesn't have a face
Because he's a
anymore.
man, and he's white, so he's obviously a rapist, right?
Okay.
Right? Maybe I could bust a door down for you sometime. Maybe I could
Right, return
bust
the favor,
a
right.
rapist across the face for you.
Right.
Ironic.
Maybe I could bust a move on the dance floor with you. That would also be good. It's a possibility that that's what they meant. There's something weird about like feminists when they and by the way, men too. Like when men are trying to write powerful women, they make women complete and total bitches with like hair triggers. So basically like women, but murderous, just and men are like, yeah, baby, let me put my dick in you. Oh fuck, I just got killed. It's so tiresome. It's such a trope from the 90s. It really is terrible. Shameful that these women wrote that. Hold on a second here. Lathan Devers. He's like, where is this here? He already caught them using a 3D asset. Actually, it was Chris Bacon. He says, I'm just here to point out the obvious, let the games begin. So he's got a photograph of one of the pages, a panel from YAIRA. And yeah, they're using 3D assets. Here it is. This is the oiled Eric. The oiled Eric. Which is, and even the shadow. They even threw the shadow in there. It's crazy. That is crazy. So they're still using 3D assets, folks. The artists are still, look at even the shadow. They put the shadow there. God, it's so weird. And it's just wrong. The shadow's in the wrong. It's wrong. Wrong. They didn't learn anything. And I guess like Lathan Devers, Chris Bacon, you guys are probably going to have to just get in there and really do a thorough job. If you have the book, finding the 3D assets, and we should do a kind of Easter egg hunt. Should be fun. All right, let me get back to the YAIRA review from Dick Masterson. And this isn't his review yet.
Yeah, I mean, if
you think that's
I
peculiar,
think if you probably sat her down, maybe got her in a calmer state, she'd go like, yeah, I was probably a little quick
this
to
doesn't
act.
read. This does not read. It doesn't read. This, whatever you were going for, does not work.
But you have to be able to read before you can write, and that's kind of the
shit, man.
That's kind of the thing.
It's so bad. Every single fucking page is so retarded. People have got to be starting to.
Well, at least the people who are very vocal. In defense, have got to be kind of quiet.
Chickening out
I would
now.
think. Well, I mean, at some point, it's like, why am I defending
this shit? It's
right?
trash. I'm not making any money for it. Now everyone's making fun of me. There's one more thing I wanted to.
Yeah,
and then we're done with the ISOM shit. Okay, this is a lot. So she goes in.
Oh boy, there's a lot of fucking writing here. Let me see.
Oh yeah, you know that's a problem, right?
Here's the redrawn image.
Of all the things Eric July is bad at, writing is the worst.
The more you play on the freeway, the greater a chance. If you don't stay anywhere near it, not. But
how many words is that comic?
Yeah.
About 1,000 and 200. Okay, thank God. I thought you were gonna. She says Solari. Oh, and the whole animated.
Solari,
remember the animated trailer that we watched?
Yeah.
The whole thing is verbatim in the comic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
She says, Solari, and it's all icy.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, this is YAIRA. She's standing in a prison for supervillains.
Right.
Okay. And she says, Solari, you have something of mine?
Yeah.
Except she doesn't have an accent. Sometimes they write her with this goofy font that makes it look like she has an accent.
I forgot about
sometimes she has no accent.
Right.
I don't know when it's supposed to be when. I mean, you can't really disguise an accent. Or else you would talk not perfectly. Clark, like Superman doesn't talk with an Irish accent, and then he goes into work. He's like, "Oh, hello, everyone."
True.
Oh, Lex Luthor. You have something. Did I? Oh, there we go. You have something of mine. She says. You want to fuck with my life, except the fuck is bleeped out because it's kid friendly.
Yeah.
But using the swear and bleeping it out does not make it kid friendly.
You can still you hear it
having
in
the
your
swear
head.
is not kid friendly.
You hear it in your head.
Yeah, it just makes the kid think of that.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's not the point of the swearing. It's not just bleeping out swears.
Right.
It's not like pixelated Japanese pornography is not safe for kids. You want to fuck with my life? I'll fuck with yours. You're a clever boy. Do you know what Do you know at what temperature steel goes from ductile to brittle?
I don't
That's
know.
real fighting words.
I don't think I know that first word.
What?
Ductile.
Ductile? Ductile is the ability of metal to be deformed without snapping.
It's
like the opposite
so
of
it's like
brittle.
it's like tempered steel, like the where.
Well, ironically, stainless steel does not do this.
So he's talking about steel.
Steel
Okay.
and iron do, but I mean not
Got it.
stainless. The kind
Yeah.
you would make a supermax prison for supervillains would be probably
he's basically
cryogenic stainless steel. So it would not do what you're saying.
So it'd have to be like at least like, is it like cryogenic? Are we talking like minus 320 Fahrenheit or some shit like that?
I mean, it gets down to zero. It gets well, not actually zero. That's impossible. But anywhere
Yeah.
between like 0 and negative 100 Celsius. I mean, I think I'm not a fucking metallurgist.
yeah, I don't know what the.
I know that though.
What's absolute zero?
Absolute zero is like
273 Kelvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Well, negative 273. Kelvin, zero
Kelvin
Kelvin.
is zero. Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's
Yeah,
the conversion.
so that's it. Oh, so you can't go fucking more than that.
It would be a better comic if she didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's not how steel. That's not how.
You're gonna freeze. Okay, you're gonna freeze the
It's like autistic
freeze
stainless
the steel
steel,
so it.
it shatters.
All right. Well,
I don't think
that's
that
not-
works. I don't think
Well, whatever.
yeah,
shatters.
that one
That's
is not.
nitpicky,
That's not
I
as bad
guess.
as some of the other.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, but you know, like people are not going to really dwell on like whether
They should,
that
though.
property of
That's like-
of that steel versus iron versus, you know what I mean?
Well,
Different kinds of stainless too.
yeah.
There's lots of different kinds of stainless.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess a crappy kind. They made the saving some money, libertarian paradise.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I don't know. You know the point where the ductility of bars becomes brittle.
Yeah.
Is that the best way you could say that? What's
No.
the?
No, I didn't understand it. I mean, I knew that he was talking about making bars brittle. But I mean, like, you know,
You know what would have been a great way to say that?
what?
You know how to make steel brittle? Ice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the
Right.
ductility of like, what
Yeah.
are you filling out a fucking
d-
OSHA form for your
ductile
warehouse
to
Eric?
brittle. Yeah.
You know the ductility rating, the D to BB ratio of ductile
Is brittle
autistic steel.
what you would say? Like if you're
You would
going
say
to
brittle.
say, you would say ductile, and then
Yeah,
the
ductile
opposite
brittle.
would be brittle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
it's because
I'm not a material science expert, but I
mean,
fucking know. I
metallurgist,
fucking know
yeah.
what steel is used in.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of nitrogen in it or whatever, a little bit of fucking chromium in it.
Vanadium.
That should have been his response. Then
Yeah.
Goody should have popped up. Actually, the most I manipulate the element of respect, and you're all out. Is
The element
Punch
of
through-
respect.
that working for you? Element jokes?
Yeah. Why not? Ice. The nastiest element. The element of ice.
Just ask somebody, hey, would this work? No, that wouldn't work. Oh.
Do you think he got that from like you're watching a
retard.
car commercial? It's like this key, your car helps your car run through the elements better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
like, and you
yeah.
see like snow or ice.
Oh,
or,
like why ice is an element?
Right, just the elements, meaning all,
Yeah,
weather,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the stuff that is hard on
That's
tires
definitely
or
what he
windshield wipers or fucking paint or something.
I
And
think-
he's, it's like ooh.
I think he got it from video games because
Yeah, sure,
you
why
always
not?
see ice used
As a
in
weapon.
video games,
Yeah.
and that's also the dumbest place I could think it would be.
You're figuring out where the
I always try to
The
be
lowest,
the
yeah.
autism whisperer.
Yeah,
I gotta know what's in their heads.
yeah, sure.
Amazing. All right, so YAIRA so far is not getting great reviews from the critics, which is unusual. I think a lot of people were hoping that the Saska sisters actually could write pretty well. I mean, I was kind of hoping they would be able to write, because I don't understand why else you would hire them. I just see them as deeply unnerving, scary b****s who were into some really creepy, dark shit. But maybe they can write. I mean, the thing about, to me, like, artists are weirdos. Artists are allowed to be drug addicted. They're allowed to be promiscuous. They're allowed to be scumbags. As long as they're great artists, as long as they're creating something that makes the world a better place for everyone. So, like the Rolling Stones are scumbags, I'm sure. Aerosmith, these rock stars are scumbags. Most of the greatest artists have been defective in many ways, degenerates, but they're creating something wonderful. So now, although I'm none of those things. Like, I'm one of the kindest, most pure. There's not a lot of degeneracy to be found here in this home, in this heart. There just isn't. I'm the most forgiving and kind individual, though. I'm not too judgmental. having said that, fuck these Sasuke sisters. I look at them and I'm just like, what? Like, why would I hire them? They must be amazing writers. Now, if they're amazing writers, that will excuse a lot. Alan Moore's a piece of shit, but he's a fantastic writer, so that excuses a lot. Grant Morrison is like a wackadoo, non-binary, like takes hallucinogens and goes to Saturn. Believes in a lot of strange things, but he's also really smart and an excellent writer. So he's allowed to not know if he's a man or a woman. I'll forgive that because he's creating such good stuff. But again, the Sasuke sisters, if they were writing wonderful superhero stories that were appropriate for kids, like little girls to read and maybe get a moral, they were talking a lot about how superhero comics gave them their moral boundaries, like their moral compass was built on like Booster Gold comics. Well, what kind of little girl would you give YAIRA to? What would you do? You're gonna give that to your kids? I mean, really think about it. I'm conscious of this when I'm writing Cyberfrog comics now. It's like, I'm really thinking like I'm trying to create something that's relatable and okay for kids to read. And maybe it's a good, look, you get knocked down and you get back up again. And no matter what the odds are, you can do it. You can do it. You just have to have family behind you and friends and high hopes. That's like the moral of Cyberfrog. I don't know what the moral of YAIRA is. I don't know what the moral of any of the Rippaverse books are. They seem amoral to me. They seem hateful in so many ways. They seem to be about the worst, most negative sort of aspects of, the pride, your pride. It's anger, hatred. Oh, it's just awful. Just terrible characters. It's not just that they're poorly designed, and they are poorly designed. But they're just terrible characters in general. Just really bad.